All right, so this Reiki is for being separated from your children due to a lot of gang stalking and just malicious abuse in general. So here's where I have a hard time, expressing my emotions. So I guess I'll describe how it feels. I remember I had a lot of fear psychosis being projected onto me when my vibration was really low by my family members and my exes and people that I had left behind so that I could find peace, because it seemed like every time I was around them, they always made me feel like I wasn't good enough. So I had so much fear psychosis subjected to me that I lost my car. I couldn't figure out where all these thoughts was coming from. You know, I was definitely trauma bonded to a lot of people, and moments where I would get like I would be able to relax was when these trauma bonds would be activated and they would go ham. But when I was, in fear psychosis mode, it was calm because they were able to feed off my fear. But when I started to take the time to relax, everybody I had walked away from would just start psychically attacking me. Like, you can't love yourself because it's going to expose who we are. I lost my car, couldn't find it. And I was looking for shelter. I remember roaming the streets looking for a place to lay my head, but I felt afraid. I even had entities following me. This is how much these people were psychically attacking me. I felt that I had done something to them for them to psychically attack me to this level of evilness. They had been sending evil entities my way. They were constantly subjecting me to fear psychosis. They were constantly gang stalking me. They were telling people that I was some crazy person to cover up years and years of trauma bonding. And I remember how to describe being without my child. I hid under a truck because I didn't want nobody to see me, because I felt like how I felt, people could see that. I didn't want nobody to see that I felt like I had lost everything. Fast forward, I literally I lost a bag that had my phone and everything else in it due to so much severe fear psychosis sent to me from my family. Was walking past this house, and I didn't realize how deep my family was into magic. Like, real shit, y'all. Whatever they had put on me, I attracted dark magician after dark magician after dark magician, feminine, masculine. I just attracted none but dark magicians for a really long time, and thankfully that has ended, because life was like, what in the hell is going on? Um, he offered me a place to stay. I felt like the only way I could have a roof over my head was if I shared my sexual energy with him. He tried to get me human trafficked. Fast forward, I'm crawling from underneath the trailer after it rained that night, and this was in a place they sold trailers, and I took the cover off of the grill so I could have some warmth, and I slept in that night, and I was covered in mud. And I had discovered that in that particular place where they sold trailers, well, due to a lot of people not buying trailers there, that's where they did a lot of human trafficking. I had hid in a trailer, and I heard voices next to me trying to make sure no one knew what was going on. And there was a white Caucasian male, looked like your everyday, you know, cutie, with ambitions and goals. I was protected because at that time when he was walking past, surveying the area to make sure no one knew what was going on. During the time he walked past, I literally had the window open, and if he had looked my way, he could have just literally snatched me up. But I was very still and highly protected. Thank you, ancestors. And I had no idea that my ex had been doing magic on me so I could get sex trafficked. I realized even though it was warm in the trailer, it wouldn't be safe to stay in the trailer. So I left the trailer and I slept under a trailer that night in the bag of the grill bag. And that morning, the next morning, when people was waking up, I didn't want to be seen, but I realized if I stayed under there, I was going to get in much more trouble. So God led me across the street to a bus stop where another homeless lady had extra clothes, and she gave me clothes because there were some cops who were connected to the human trafficking, and they were looking for me. And if I had the same clothes on, they would, with me being in the mindset that I was in at the time, me looking the way I was looking, they would have, did what they was gonna do. And I was blessed with clothes. Fast forward, I found a place to take a shower and to get some clean clothes, and I meet my second daughter's father. And he saw how much fear psychosis that was being directed at me, and because he was highly codependent, but he didn't want people to know that he liked to touch kids, he used me as a cover to better his image. And I let him get into my heart space, And he did a lot of fear psychosis on me too, to have me think that if I was by myself, I wasn't going to be safe. So fast forward, when I started to realize that his pedophilia was coming out, and his name is Hezekiah Wasserstein, he had already, communicated with the shelter staff to turn them against me. He had canceled a psychiatric appointment that I had been planning on going to. He lied to them and created this story that I was someone that I was not. So they saw me through the eyes that he saw. I told the shelter about my suspicions of him being a pedophile, and my child was kidnapped from me in the hospital. Jacoby Hospital is not a good place to take your kids to. They subject a lot of children to a whole bunch of things, Um, Police cornered me, made it seem as if I was disturbing the peace, and they injected me with heroin. Yeah. Then while I was in Jacoby's mental hospital, because, they wanted to make it look as if I did something extra that I didn't do, my daughter's father did an emergency court order to have my child separated from me. So when I got out the hospital, they expected me to basically give in to whatever addiction they hoped I would develop. Yet I rose above it, because I said, shit, you are doing everything you can to have me silence my voice and go incognito. Why is this? So basically the feeling of what it's like to be maliciously separated from my children, it's like I have this need to understand what all this extra effort was put into sabotaging me as deeply as it has been done. I have this drive to understand how to not be overcome by such darkness of such dark people. This is why I create videos, because even if you're not going through what I've been through, there's people out here that's possibly trying to basically tear you down. And you guys have to share your truth. Even if it sounds outlandish, Even if it sounds like nobody's going to believe you, share your truth, because at the end of the day, the right person will hear the message and you'll be helping somebody. So that's Reiki for what it feels like to be malicious, separated from your kids.